Hi, I'm Olivia, 27, and this is the story of how I was exiled from my own family over a $60,000 loan and how that exile turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. It started the week before Thanksgiving. My mom gathered the family in the living room like we were about to get a lecture on manners from 1994. She always did this when something needed to be addressed, which was usually code for Olivia, you've disappointed us again. This time, though, it was different. She stood by the fireplace like a judge about to pass sentence. My dad sat silent in his recliner, arms crossed, eyes blank, disengaged like usual. My sister Lauren perched on the couch, arm in a $300 hoodie she definitely didn't pay for. I had just gotten in from work, still wearing my shoes, still holding my bag. Then came the line, "You're not welcome at Thanksgiving, Olivia," my mom said flatly. "Family supports family. You refused to co-sign your sister's loan. No build-up. No warning, just that." In front of everyone. The room went silent, not shocked, just expectant, as if everyone had agreed this was going to happen, and now they were waiting to see if I'd cry or explode. My cousin Julia looked stunned. She'd flown in early, probably expecting cinnamon candles and turkey, not an execution. I didn't flinch. I didn't cry. I didn't defend myself. I just looked at my mom, then at Lauren, then at my dad, and I nodded. Not the kind of nod that means okay, I understand, the kind that means this is the last time you ever do this to me. I walked upstairs, packed a small bag, grabbed my laptop, and by midnight, I was gone. No door slam, no shouting match, no dramatic exit. Just silence, the kind that follows a final decision. But I wasn't disappearing. I was pulling the pin. The next morning, they woke up to silence, but not the peaceful kind. My mom's debit card got declined at the grocery store. My dad's emergency Amex was frozen. Lauren tried to book a lash appointment and got hit with a payment failed screen. She sent me a screenshot like it was a ransom note, circled the decline message in red and wrote, "Olivia, fix this." Fix what, exactly? Over the last 5 years, my family had quietly entangled themselves into every inch of my finances. It started small. "Can we use your name for a better interest rate?" Then, "Can you add us to your account in case of emergencies?" And finally, "You're under our roof. It's the least you can do." Only I wasn't a kid anymore. I was working a full-time job, paying for half the bills, groceries, vet visits, even the broken garbage disposal they never called the landlord about. And Lauren, the $60,000 idea girl, she hadn't worked a full-time job in half a decade. Every time she quit something, she swore it was for a passion project. She'd asked me to co-sign for her latest business idea, a luxury loungewear brand that sold $90 sweatpants to people with zero budget. I asked for a business plan. She sent me a mood board. I said no. That no was the real betrayal, apparently. Not the years I spent carrying their expenses. Not the vacations I never took so I could save. Not the fact that Lauren still owed me $8,000 from the last time I bailed her out. They called it selfish. I called it survival. So I closed the account they used like a bottomless piggy bank. I rerouted my direct deposit to a new bank. I shut down the emergency card I was still paying off from college. I even locked down the family Netflix account. Petty, sure, but it felt divine. The messages came in like an avalanche. "Olivia, why are you doing this? We didn't mean for you to actually leave. You're punishing your family over nothing." And then the real kicker from my dad, "We need you just until Lauren gets back on her feet." The irony. They didn't need me, they needed the version of me who never said no. The one who paid quietly, explained away the dysfunction, and smiled through resentment. But that version of me had packed her laptop and vanished in the middle of the night. And she wasn't coming back. 3 days after I left, my name lit up in the worst possible place. My job. It started with a quick chat request from HR. You know the kind. Casual tone. "Just need a minute." Totally normal. Except it never is. I sat down across from my manager and HR rep. They handed me a printed email, anonymous sender, no return address, full of accusations that felt plucked straight from a soap opera. Fraud, embezzlement, misuse of company funds. They claimed I was funneling money to illegitimate family ventures, said I accessed restricted databases outside working hours. The kind of stuff that can end a career or at least put a giant black mark next to your name. And the worst part, the phrasing. The weird, overly dramatic phrasing. She's hiding assets through company portals. She's financially unstable and a risk to sensitive information. That wasn't HR language. That was Lauren with a thesaurus. She couldn't get money from me, so she tried to get me fired. Daughter wasn't accusing me of anything, but they had to investigate. I spent a whole day combing through logs, receipts, access records, basically proving I hadn't committed cyber crimes in the name of loungewear and dysfunction. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just sat in my tiny apartment, rage thrumming under my skin, thinking about how far my own family was willing to go to break me. It didn't work. My records were clean. My job was safe. But the damage was done. I realized in that moment they didn't want me back. They wanted to make sure I had nothing without them, and that scared me more than any fraud accusation ever could. So I called a lawyer. Not to sue. Not yet. Just to find out how to make sure no one could ever touch my life again. She listened, took notes, asked for the email, the account records, the old texts about the loan. And then she said something I didn't expect. This isn't family drama anymore. It's targeted harassment. Document everything. And I did. Because this wasn't going to end at Thanksgiving. This was war. It escalated faster than I could have imagined. First came the phone calls to extended family, Lauren painting me as mentally unstable, claiming I'd lost my job, that I was spiraling, spending recklessly, too proud to ask for help. She said I was depressed, ashamed, and in desperate need of support. But of course, not directly. No. She told them if they wanted to help, they could send her money and she'd make sure I got it discreetly. I only found out because Julia texted me in all caps, "Lauren is fundraising for you." She made a whole crisis. At first, I thought she was joking. But then she sent me a screenshot Lauren's fake Facebook burner account, using a cropped photo of my face from 3 Thanksgivings ago, posting about my supposed breakdown. She was making money off my name. I froze my credit, changed all my passwords, locked down every bank account, moved my mail to a PO box, filed a fraud alert with every major bureau. Then I went straight to the police station and filed a report. It felt surreal, standing there saying the words, "My sister is impersonating me for money," like I was trapped in some low-budget identity theft movie. Then I did the smartest thing I've done in years. I filmed a video. It wasn't dramatic. No crying, no rage, just me, calmly explaining the truth, the financial abuse, the family pressure, the loan, the sabotage, the HR email, and now this scam. I listed dates. I showed proof. And I sent it to Julia, with one request: send this to anyone who asks what happened. Let them hear it from me. The fallout was slow, but satisfying. My uncle texted me, said he was sorry for ever doubting me. My aunt, who once told me Lauren was just going through a rough patch, emailed an apology. And Julia, bless her, kept sending me updates. She said, "They're finally seeing it. She's unraveling." But I didn't celebrate, because I knew Lauren, and people like her don't go quiet. They go nuclear. 2 weeks later, Lauren showed up at my door. No warning, no text, no apology. Just her, leaning against the railing of my apartment building like she had every right to be there, hoodie pulled up, arms crossed, face blank. I was coming back from the grocery store. I had 2 bags in one hand and a cinnamon candle in the other. She didn't even say hello. "I just want to clear the air," she started, like we were 2 coworkers who'd had a mild misunderstanding at a team lunch. "Mom's been sick. You're making this harder than it has to be. Then this part will never leave me," she said. "I forgive you." I blinked. "You forgive me?" I said. She didn't flinch, just pulled out a folded piece of paper from her jacket and said she needed one thing: a signature. For a lease. Just a formality, she said. No big deal. I didn't even look at it. I told her if she ever came back to this building, I'd call the police. That she didn't scare me, that I didn't know her a single breath, and that the only thing I was signing was her exit from my life. She muttered something under her breath as she stomped off. Probably a rehearsed insult she didn't have the nerve to say at full volume. The next day, my mailbox was pried open, not my apartment door, just the mail slot in the front of the building. The lock was bent. Only half the mail was missing. Not the junk, just the good stuff. Bank letters. A prepaid Visa card I'd been waiting on. My new insurance card. It was surgical. I reported it to the landlord. He said nothing like that had ever happened in this building before. I believed him. I knew who it was. I couldn't prove it, but I knew. That night, I moved every statement online. I rerouted everything to my P.O. box across town. I spent the evening in my cold apartment, sitting on the couch I paid for myself, staring at the wall like it could give me answers. Then I got a fraud alert. Someone had tried to open a line of credit in my name at a jewelry store. Then again the next day, this time, at a dealership in New Jersey. I hadn't left the city. I hadn't even left my apartment. My name was being passed around like a master key. So I called my lawyer. Told her everything. The mailbox. The attempted credit lines. The signature stunt. The unannounced visit. She didn't flinch. This is criminal now, she said. She filed a second police report. Sent a cease and desist letter to my parents' address. With Lauren's name on it. Certified. Time-stamped. Delivered. Documented. I thought it would be enough, but I should have known better. The next day, my mom left me a voicemail from a new number. Of course, it was quiet, cold, controlled. We got your letter, Olivia. We're heartbroken. But if you keep this up, we'll be forced to fight back. She didn't say how. She didn't have to. That voicemail, that was the line. I saved it. Sent it to my lawyer, who quietly added it to the growing folder now labeled Family Harassment and Fraud. Olivia. She didn't even blink anymore. Just replied, keep documenting. We're almost there. The thing is, I didn't feel scared anymore. Not even angry. Something colder had taken its place. The kind of stillness you feel after watching someone burn down the last bridge and realizing you never needed it to begin with. But Lauren wasn't done. She never is. A few days later, my landlord called me into his office. He looked awkward. Said he'd received an anonymous email. No name, just a burner Gmail account. It accused me of bringing criminal scrutiny to the building. Claimed I was under investigation for financial misconduct and that I'd been involved in a family dispute that turned violent. He slid a printed copy across the desk. I read it once. Then once more. Just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. It was calculated. Even had fake legal citations. I could practically hear Lauren's voice in the dramatic phrasing. My landlord said he didn't believe it, but he was required to document it for safety. They were trying to get me evicted. I left his office and went straight home, locked the door, sat on my second-hand couch, and started writing a timeline. Not just for my lawyer, but for myself. I needed to see it all laid out. The Thanksgiving ambush, the frozen accounts, the fake HR report, the identity fraud, the mailbox break-in, the smear campaigns. And now, an anonymous eviction attempt. Each one connected. Each one escalating. This wasn't a family drama. It was a campaign. I called my lawyer again. She didn't hesitate. We're filing for a restraining order, she said. This is no longer emotional abuse. This is targeted sabotage. She submitted everything, every voicemail, every email, every attempted fraud alert. She even contacted the dealership in New Jersey and requested surveillance footage. The next day, I got another voicemail from my mom. Her voice was calm again. Too calm, like she was reading a press release. If you take this further, Olivia, you're not just cutting us off. You're declaring war on your own family. And that's when it finally clicked. This was never about money. It wasn't even about Lauren. It was about control. It was about keeping me small, scared, dependent. They didn't want me back in their lives. They just didn't want me free. The next battle came wrapped in a filter and a caption. Lauren posted a carousel of black and white photos on Instagram, her sitting on the porch, fake tears in her eyes, a shot of my childhood bedroom door, and a blurry photo of a framed picture of us from 10 years ago. The caption: "This year, I lost my sister. Not to death but to greed. She chose money over family. Over me." Hundreds of likes. Dozens of comments from people who didn't know me, didn't care to ask, parroting the usual garbage. "You're so strong. Blood doesn't mean loyalty. She'll come around. Stay hopeful." I rolled my eyes. Until Julia sent me a screenshot from one of Lauren's burner accounts. Yep, she was commenting on her own post using a fake profile. "She'll come crawling back. They always do." And that's when something snapped. Not with rage. Not even grief. Just a clarity so cold and sharp it could slice through concrete. They didn't care about reconciliation. They weren't trying to make peace or even win. They were trying to erase the version of me that didn't need them. The version that didn't bleed herself dry for other people's messes. The version that said no and meant it. So I wrote one final message. An email. Correct. 3 lines. "I am no longer your daughter. You are no longer my responsibility. Try me again, and we'll settle this in court." Then I vanished. I accepted a new job in a new city. I moved apartments. Didn't tell a soul outside of Julia. No forwarding address. No contact info. I changed my number. Killed every lingering account they had access to. Closed old emails. Got a new laptop. A new router. Even a new mattress, because why not sleep on something that's never known their weight? It wasn't dramatic. It was clean. Final. Absolute. Julia was the only one who knew where I went. And she promised, crossed her heart, in a real phone call. Not a text that she'd never say a word. And she never has. They still try sometimes. Little things. A Christmas card to my old P.O. box. No return address. A wedding invitation from a cousin I barely know, with hope you'll reconsider, scribbled next to my name. Don't open them. I don't respond. Because I didn't just walk away from a toxic family. I walked toward something they never wanted me to find myself. It's been 9 months since that final email. Since I cut the cord with the people who raised me, then tried to gut me with the same hands. In that time, no one's found me. No accidental run-ins. No surprise voicemails from a number I forgot to block. Nothing but real, uninterrupted silence. And that silence, it's sacred. I live in a small second-floor walk-up now. It's not fancy walls or a little crooked. Heater groans like a wounded animal, but it's mine. Every mug in the cabinet, every towel in the bathroom, every book on the shelf, I bought them with money that no one else claimed to own. No strings. No guilt. No Lauren. I work remotely. Same field. Better pay. I meet deadlines. Log off at 5. And no one's calling me about overdue gas bills or missing child support payments I was never supposed to be responsible for in the first place. I go to the store and buy exactly what I want without wondering if someone else is going to eat it before I do. I have Saturday mornings now. That's what really gets me. I used to spend Saturdays calculating how much I could cover without putting my own rent at risk. Now, I bake badly. I make cinnamon rolls from cans and drink coffee on my tiny balcony in socks that don't match. The breeze smells like possibility and dryer sheets. And some nights, after dinner, I sit on my couch, the first couch I ever picked out myself, and I let it hit me. They don't own me anymore. They don't get to define me, narrate me, drain me, or guilt me. They can keep their group chats full of false memories and filtered photos. They can keep the matching pajamas and church donation dinners. They can keep the story where I'm the villain who left. Because I don't need to rewrite their version of me. I just needed to leave it behind. And that girl they lost, the one who kept quiet, kept giving, kept fixing, she's gone. She left the day they made it clear that loyalty to them meant servitude. the woman standing in her place. She chose peace over performance, and she's never going back. The end.